Alright. Hello. Welcome. I am the Seven Goobers. Sorry for the wait. I hope you're prepared for the stream. So, recently, a big trailer was dropped. And I mean big. Everyone's going to be going nuts about it. It's crazy, honestly. Now, the thing about this trailer is I'm really excited, so I'm going to try and, contain my excitement a bit, but obviously it's going to show. Everyone's been talking about it. It's just been a buzz lately. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to watch the trailer, watch previous trailers from the same franchise, and then analyze the entire extended universe, because I'm a really big fan of the source material this trailer came from. So let's just begin. Let's go to the trailer. Just so we all know, I'm going to be pausing and playing the trailer as we go. So, be ready for that. The video doesn't work, fuck. Let's just reload that site. Here we go.
Illumination!
Now if we pause it here, you can see it says December 20th, which shows that this is pretty close to Christmas. So it could be a Christmas movie. Now this is a little callback, see, to the movie Despicable Me, which is made by the same people who were making this. That song came from that movie, and it became very popular, so it makes sense that it would be playing on the radio, and it makes sense that it would be in an Illumination movie. Let's continue. Now, this is funny because it's kind of like making fun of the fact that how popular and, I guess some people would say, overplayed this song became back when it first came out. So it would make sense that a character like the Grinch really despises. I bet he despised it when it first came out, but his hatred for it grew and grew. Like Gru from Despicable Me. That was a little bit of a joke, but sorry, I make myself laugh. But that hatred would be much stronger from the fact that how overplayed the song is. Anyway, let's continue. He made it stop playing. It started playing again. So here we can see what the people who have made this have done. And they've got quite a big repertoire up their sleeves. They've got Despicable Me, which, great movie, I love it. The Secret Life of Pets, and Sing. There we have Max, his dog. He was in the books, I remember. Now here we have a bit of a cover of the classic song from the original Grinch cartoon, where it's like, "You're a mean one, Mister," which they also did they redid it in Jim Carrey's version of the Grinch, which we'll get to Jim Carrey in a second, but it's just good that they're sticking to the source material. Let's continue. You see, I'm gonna go back and look at that. Watch this. So he poured a frowny face into it, which, alright, it shows that not a very happy place to be. And it transitions to the Grinch's frowning face, which is really good cinematography on their part, and it's just one of the reasons I'm really excited for this movie. Let's continue. I've just been told that Sing holds the record for the highest grossing movie that didn't hit #1, and I should show it some respect. I was showing some respect. It's just, it's so good, I had no words for it. I could just, I just didn't know what to say for such an amazing movie. Anyway, stop distracting me. Let's continue with The Grinch. You see, it's coming out in November.
Today we will do new things, and we will do them in style.
Here's the first time we've heard the Grinch's voice. We've heard him groan and grunt at listening to. We heard him yell Max, but that was a loud yell. You can't really tell someone's voice from a yell, can you? That's the first time he's spoken. Like, we're going to do mean things, and we're going to do it in style. And you can tell instantly that it is, in fact, Benedict Cumberbatch who is playing the Grinch. That's right, Benedict Cumberbatch.
Oh, hello! Happy
You see, that there was showing how rude the Grinch is, which, in my opinion, is one of his character traits. That he's rude and disrespectful. Let's continue.
Hey, excuse me, are you getting that?
You see, that was showing that the Grinch is being rude, and in my opinion, that is one of the Grinch's character traits. He's rude and, you know, just a bit of a prick. Let's continue. You see, that was showing that the Grinch is rude, and in my opinion, that's one of his character traits. He's rude and a bit of a prick sometimes, you know, and he does those things just to despite people, just to be rude. Like, which, while in real life would be frowned upon, in Grinch life it is smiled upon, because it is funny. Let's continue. Now here we have some balloons, like big inflatable Christmas things, just inflating. I don't think anyone will expect what happens next. I didn't see it coming, and it really caught me off guard the first few times I watched the trailer. So I'm just giving you a warning about there is a shocking thing that's about to come. And, alright, you're warned. I really hope that that is just a one-off joke and the Grinch isn't injured, because if the Grinch were to be severely hurt, I wouldn't know what to do with myself. So, yeah. Let's continue. So there it is, The Grinch 2018, coming out this year, and everyone's been talking about it. It's been the hot buzz of as of late. And honestly, I understand it. I'm very excited. The soundtrack sounds amazing. They've got a really great all-star cast. Let's see who they've got. They've got Benedict Cumberbatch. So yeah, I'm really excited about this movie, and the animation looks. The jokes that we got to see of this is good, and it was a very good trailer all around. We don't see too much of what happens. So now, next, I did a bit of a stop analysis there. I could go through it all and analyze every single bit, but I feel that's been done to death. So what I'm going to do is now watch an old trailer for a different movie in the franchise, in the extended universe, the original Grinch trailer that had not Benedict Cumberbatch, actually. It was Jim Carrey. Let's just start it. As you can see here, it wasn't made by Illumination. It was in fact made by Universal, which is probably one of the bigger differences in these two movies. If you were paying attention, actually. Anyway, let's continue.
Universal Pictures and Imagine Entertainment.
This one starts off with a bit of a narration. Just a sec. We'll be right back. There we go. That should be better. Yeah. Alright. Gonna give a few seconds for the stream to catch up, so I can check chat to make sure the delay isn't, you know, horrible. So if someone could say like, it's alright, it's better than it was, that would be swell. Sweet as, fam. Thank you, moderator, person, dude. We're going to continue the Jim Carrey version of the Grinch trailer. So let's just continue. Sorry about that, guys. I didn't realize this is my first time with this setup, and next time this won't happen.
Invite you to experience the magic of the classic story as it comes to life like you've never seen before. In a place where the Christmas spirit.
You see, what this is it's setting it up. It's like everyone's happy. It's the spirit of Christmas. It's the classic tale. Everyone knows it. It's showing everyone happy, the hustle and bustle of Christmas. But it's about to take a turn.
Is everywhere. Have the best Christmas ever! Well, almost everywhere.
What did I tell you? What brilliant writing that is. Oh my god. Like I'm excited for this new movie, but I don't know. Can it top this movie? Because like the other movie, you know, it was a good trailer. It showed us the movie, but this one, it's like bam. It's making creative decisions. It's so good. Let's continue.
Counting down that Christmas clock. Oh, yeah.
You see, there's already one big similarity between these two trailers. They both start when we first see the Grinch, he's in bed. I was thinking, why is that? Why is he in bed? What is the meaning behind that? I've read the book many times. There's not that much time where he's in bed in the book. It's like, but then I realized, why would he be in bed? Because he's lazy. These movies are not so different. They are taking the same symbolism, the same imagery as each other to show he's in bed, he's lying, he's like, right? It's showing, it's good writing for a character. Keep that in mind. Let's continue.
Yes, this Christmas music, it's joyful.
It also starts with him hating music, which I think Illumination has been taking a couple of pages out of the Universal book. What's up with that? I mean, I'm all for new movies. I'm all for adaptations. I'm all for reboots. I'm all for remakes. And my excitement has not changed at all for The Grinch 2018. But I don't want it to just be Now, before I say this next line, it's going to come as a shock, but if you look really closely at each of them, you'll see this one's animated, this one isn't, which is one of the many differences between the two movies. But what I want is not just this movie animated. I want a new movie. I want a new story with the Grinch. I want... You know? It's just... Like, looking at his face makes me laugh. Can they do that with animation? Because you can do anything with animation. You can make a funny face. But this is Jim Carrey. He's making a funny face in real life, which makes it funnier. So, Illumination, please make sure the new Grinch movie is an original concept. Because from so far, from the two trailers, you're just pretty much copying each other, and you know? And this one's doing it better. It's like when a person does work and you ask, like, a friend asks, like, hey, can I use your work because I forgot to do it, and you let them use your work but say, don't copy it, so they're like, alright, and they cut bits out of it and change words, and like, your version was an A, and because they cut all the stuff out, theirs is like a C. That's what you're doing, Illumination. Jim Carrey is an A, Benedict Cumberbatch's version so far is... That doesn't mean I'm not excited, I'm very excited, but you know, I'm just going off the trailers. The movie itself could be amazing. Let's continue.
Jim Carrey is the Grinch.
Now, if you'll remember in the animated Grinch 2018 trailer, there's not a moment where we hear any characters say the Grinch's name. This one, it's clear that everyone knows who the Grinch is. He's a powerful entity in the Dr. Seuss universe in this version, whereas in the other one it's like, hi sir, they don't know who he is. Could that be because this is Jim Carrey and the other one's Benedict Cumberbatch? Jim Carrey, Benedict Cumberbatch. You decide. Leave comments down below on why you think the Who's in Whoville didn't know the Benedict Cumberbatch Grinch, but they do know the Jim Carrey Grinch. Let's continue.
I must stop this Christmas thing coming from
Instantly, this trailer sets up the Grinch's motives. The other one is just like, let's go do bad things and let's do it in style. And the only time we see his disdain for Christmas is when he gets slapped by the big inflatable thing. He's like, grrr. We don't even know if he hates that because of Christmas. He might just not like being hit in the face. Like, the only time we see him hating things is when he hates the song Happy, which has nothing to do with Christmas. Why would they be playing the song Happy on the 20th of December? They would be playing a Christmas song. In fact, I think my excitement and hype for this Grinch movie is slowly deteriorating. Deteriorating the more I think about it. Hopefully the movie itself will be fine, but this trailer, the more I think about it, the worse it gets. Let's continue.
Universal Pictures. What would I wear? And Imagine Entertainment.
In this trailer, we see him as Santa, and as the trailer continues, we'll see him in the sleigh, and we'll see him and Max as Rudolph. Which is probably one of the biggest things in the book, the fact that, you know, he dresses up as Santa, goes in the sleigh, steals Christmas. I mean, the movie of this version is How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Whereas in the other one, we don't see him do anything Christmassy. In fact, it looks like it's just Gru from Despicable Me, but a furry in a Christmas environment. Let's continue.
Forgot about the reindeer.
Mr. Grinch, I myself am having some Yuletide doubts.
Okay.
Maybe if you can reunite with the Who's and be a part of Christmas.
Maybe if you can reunite with the Who to be a part of Christmas.
You see, this is why this movie is so amazing. It takes what's set up in the books and adds to it. Here is its own plot. The plot about Cindy Lou, a Who hasn't even grown into her own nose yet. Why is this important? Because she is never in the books, yet she's a main character in this movie. What she does is provides basically any reason for this movie to exist. She is the reason the Grinch goes down at Christmas. She, in a way, is what causes him to steal Christmas, because she's the one who's like, hey, come to our Christmas celebrations. And he does come to the Christmas celebrations, where he is mocked and ridiculed, which is what causes him to go like, that's it, I'm stealing Christmas. So without her, there would be no How the Grinch Stole Christmas, starring Jim Carrey. Whereas in the books, it's just like,
I don't like Christmas. I'm going to get rid of it, boy.
and that's what we see in the Benedict Cumberbatch trailer. It's just, he's unhappy. We don't see his motives for being bad. In this one, we see his backstory. We see him bullied as a child for being all green. We see him not, like, the love of his life be taken by his worst enemy. All these things, and explains why the Grinch is like how he is. Now, while I do like the fact that How the Grinch Stole Christmas did this, and it added its own flavours to it, it did stray a bit far from the source material. So I'm hoping, while still bringing something new to the table, Benedict Cumberbatch's version will stay truer to the original novel of How the Grinch Stole Christmas. But, you know, we haven't seen much. It was a very short trailer. So, hopefully there'll be more trailers coming out throughout the year, and then by then we'll be able to tell. So let's just continue.
If you think you know the whole story,
What if it's all just a misunderstanding?
this could change my entire outlook on life.
Really?
No. You don't know Grinch.
There is probably one of the greatest lines in a trailer ever. It's similar to the word Smurf in the Smurf universe, where Smurf can mean anything, like Smurf you, Smurf off, you know? Where it's like, you don't know Grinch. Playing on the expression of you don't know anything, you don't know shit, you don't know Jack, you don't know Grinch. Let's continue. See, he says he's going to throw up, but I feel like that might be the least of his concerns, seeing as he's probably about to die going down a mountain on a rocket sleigh. Let's continue. Well, at least he listened. Now, in this trailer, if you're listening in the background, there's the which is a Christmas song. What song was playing in the Benedict Cumberbatch version? Happy, which isn't a Christmas song for a movie that's meant to be a Christmas movie. As you can see on the screen now, Jim Carrey. Let's continue.
Jim Carrey.
In fact, watching this trailer is very, very similar to the Benedict Cumberbatch version. It even just has one screen for an actor. Usually in movies it's like, this person, bah, this person, bah, this person, bah. This one was like, the other one it was like, Benedict Cumberbatch. This one is just like, Jim Carrey. That's it.
In a Ron Howard film.
Although this one does show the director, which it didn't do in the other one. Which, you know. This one shows some physical comedy, which is something
The Grinch. Oh, somebody's fabulous.
Okay, so this trailer, it stays true to the Grinch's character in the novel. And we know in the movie, he doesn't go down to Whoville just for fun. He goes down after being forced to, or when he has to, because he has to do something. And when he goes, he's in disguise, so he's not seen. Whereas in the Benedict Cumberbatch version, he just goes down and he's like, we're going to do mean things. It's not the Grinch. It's not the Grinch. The Grinch would never just do something like that. The Grinch has motives. He's a deeper character. He wants to stay to himself. He doesn't want to interact with other people. He only interacts with people when his hate becomes so strong or he's forced to. Let's continue. That's it. A very good trailer for a very good movie. Pretty happy about that. The two trailers, there are a lot of similarities. They were both in bed. Both were awoken by music. The way it was just shot, you know. The character was very different. The actors were different. It was also animated and one wasn't animated, so... So next we're going to look at the actual novel it came from. Here it is. How the Grinch Stole Christmas. I'm going to do a quick read-through of it. And just comment. I'm going to skip bits every now and then, but, you know. So, every Who down in Whoville liked Christmas a lot. But the Grinch, who lived just north of Whoville, did not. See, this jumps straight into the fact that he doesn't like Christmas. And it's just, he did not like it. It's not like, oh, I don't like music. He doesn't like Christmas. Unlike the Whos, who love it. The Grinch hated Christmas the whole Christmas season. Now please don't ask why. No one quite knows the reason. See? The other ones, they try and give a reason. They try and give a reason for his hate, his anger. But no, he doesn't have a reason. He just hates it. But in the Jim Carrey movie, they give him backstory. They give him reason. They give him meaning. In the new Benedict Cumberbatch one, it seems they're just making him a prick for the sake of being a prick. This one, he's not a prick. He's just like, he hates Christmas. He doesn't go around just terrorizing people for the sake of it. He just doesn't like Christmas. Right? It could be said his head... No, let's skip that. He stood there on Christmas Eve, hating the Whos, staring down from his cave with a sour, grinchy frown at the warm lighted windows beneath in their town. For he knew every Who down in Whoville beneath was busy now, hanging a mistletoe wreath. See, at the moment he's just like, I hate it so much. And in the Jim Carrey version, it's like, I hate it, but I don't like it. Until Cindy Lou Who comes and is like, yo, come down to Whoville and we'll have a gay old time. And he does and regrets it, remembering why he hates Christmas so much. Tomorrow is Christmas, it's practically here. Then he growled, with his Grinch fingers nervously drumming, I must find some way to stop Christmas from coming. For tomorrow he knew, or the Who girls and boys would wake bright and early, they'd rush for their toys, and then, oh the noise, noise. That's one thing he hated, the noise. So in the other movies we're seeing him hating the music, the Christmas singing, which later it does show his reaction to the Christmas singing, but it's not what makes him hate it. In fact, in this version, let's skip to there. We'll just skip where he steals Christmas, you know. after he steals Christmas, he expects everyone to wake up and all be all sad. Let's read this. 3,000 feet up the side of Mount Crumpet, he rode with his load to the tip-top to dump it. Pooh-pooh to the Who's he was grinchiously humming. They're finding out now that no Christmas is coming. They're just waking up. I know just what they'll do. Their mouths will hang open a minute or two. Then the Who's down in Whoville will all cry boo-hoo. That's a noise, grinned the Grinch, that I simply must hear. So he paused, and the Grinch put his hand to his ear. And he did hear a sound rising over the snow. It started in low, then it started to grow. But the sound wasn't sad. Why, this sound was merry. It couldn't be so. It was merry, very. He stared down at Whoville. The Grinch popped his eyes. Then he shook. What he saw was a shocking surprise. Every Who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, was singing without any presents at all. He hadn't stopped Christmas from coming. It came, somehow or other, it just came the same. And the Grinch, with his Grinch feet ice cold in the snow, stood puzzling and puzzling. How could it be so? It came without ribbons, it came without tags. It came without packages, boxes, or bags. And he puzzled 3 hours till his puzzler was sore. Then the Grinch thought of something he hadn't before. Maybe Christmas, he thought, doesn't come from a store. Maybe Christmas, perhaps, means a little bit more. The message there is that Christmas is not about commercial goods, and it's about spending time with each other, about celebrating, it's about family. That's what it's about. The movies, seem to forget that fact and just go, he hates music, he hates Christmas music. No, in the source material, the Christmas music is what makes him love Christmas. It's his favourite part now. In fact, he joins in the singing eventually. He even cuts the roast beast. So yes, that is my take on the new Grinch trailer. Now, after analysing the trailer, after analysing previous trailers, after analysing the source material, I think we're going to go into something a bit different. Now, I thought more people knew about this, but apparently people don't know about the Dr. Seuss Extended Universe. Now, the movie side of it is very complicated, and I feel that will have to be a whole stream in itself to explain, a whole video even, with effort and time. But today I'm going to be explaining the, from the book versions, the extended universe of Dr. Seuss. So let's begin. I've got my collection here. Here it is. Oh, there it is. My Dr. Seuss collection. In answer to your question, Rymaster455, this probably will be uploaded. You never know. Hopefully. I might do a more edited down version. Anyway, so we're going to start with I am not going to get up today. I'm really sorry about the green screen. You know, the books have green in it as a colour. So, I am not going to get up today. This is the first book in the timeline. It takes place really early on, before all the other books, and it's purely because it takes place in our world, a human world, where humans are humans and animals are animals. Like, look, there's a dog, and it's just a normal dog, whereas all the humans are humans. So it just takes place with a bunch of humans in the human world. Now, this is where things get more complicated. Next we have A, Jesus Christ, the green screen. Next we have ABC. And it was Dr. Seuss's take on the English alphabet. Now, it's not his best, honestly, but it is a good read. I recommend it for anyone who's interested in the entire universe. Now, what we see here is, it's all, you know, humans and shit, and like mice. Look, there's a bunch of mice doing mice things because they're normal mice. Lions, kangaroos, kettles, all animals we know in our world, except for the two main ones. These two, which they're exploring the English language, which is a human concept. So these two creatures, this is their first time in contact with a human thing. Everything, the first one, alligator, you know, it goes all the way to an elephant, and they're all real creatures throughout the book, except for the two hosts, and they're baffled by everything. The only thing that doesn't shock them in the end is the one thing that we don't have in our world, which comes from the letter Z, and it is the zizza, zazza, zuzz. Their reaction is more of a pleased shock. So clearly, they knew the zizza, zazza, zuzz. So, it's safe to assume that this takes place in a world long after I Am Not Going to Get Up Today, which is the first book, where animals are starting to evolve. They're starting to become more than just the animals we know. They're starting to get sentience, they're becoming intelligence, and new creatures are popping up, whether they're aliens, other dimensions, they're just evolution. But anyway, ABC. Now, naturally, it makes sense that following ABC, we have O beyond zebra, which is the letters, it says, let's look at said Conrad Cornelius O'Donnell Odell, my very young friend who is learning to spell. The A is for ape, and the B is for bear, the C is for camel, and the C is for hare, the M is for mouse, and the R is for rat. I know all 26 letters like that, referring to the alphabet. He then says that the Z is as far as the alphabet goes. But then his friend is like, but wait. There are other letters. My alphabet starts where your alphabet ends. And he goes around explaining his alphabet, introducing these creatures that these letters start with. How our alphabet was like, A is for armadillo, B is for bat, Z is for zebra. He's introducing these creatures, and they had to make a whole new alphabet for these creatures. So it's safe to assume that this is taking place after these weird creatures from evolution are starting to pop up more and more in the universe, on the planet, not the universe. This is the extended universe, but it all takes place in one planet for now. And yeah, so it's safe to assume that it's just follows on from ABC, where these weird creatures are popping up more and more and more. Humans are like, alright, they exist. Hop on Pop, once again, these creatures, there are more of them here. It's like now a mix between, like, these are bears here, yet they're humanoid bears, and then there's fish. Fish in trees. So it's normal animals are now evolving to strange creatures, and we have these things are also popping up all over the place. So yes, it's safe to assume it's still shortly after the previous two of ABC and O Beyond Zebra would be shortly followed by Hop on Pop. Next up, this is where plot starts coming into it. Next we have the Sneetches. Now, it's the Sneetches and other stories, because we have the story of the Zacks, the Too Many Daves and what was I scared of about the pants that chase the kid. Now, everyone who knows anything about the Dr. Seuss universe would know the fact that all of the ones titled Other Stories are non-canon. The only canon story in this one is the Sneetches, and I'll explain why. So it starts off with the Sneetches. They're obviously one of the creatures that evolved and, you know, just live in our world. But at this point, we are noticing humans are a lot lesser, and these creatures seem to be a lot more prominent. Anyway, so we find out about the stars, and, you know, the story itself isn't that important overall, but we then find this machine from a very, very important character. He sets everything else up, and his name is Sylvester McMonkey McBean. Remember that name. Now, he creates an invention that makes the Sneetches have stars on their belly. You can't see it because of the heckin' green screen, but just know they have stars on their belly. And in the end, it becomes a whole mess where everyone has stars on their belly, some don't. Where originally it was a story about race and segregation. The Sneetches without stars on their bellies were outcasts. They were forgotten. Or not outcasts, they were just on the fringes of society, some would say. And the ones with stars were living the high life. They were up here. And in the end, Sylvester McMonkey McBean takes advantage of this, and makes profit from their being split up on something so trivial as a star on one's belly. And he takes off with the money. Remember that. And the Sneetches go on to live happily. They put their differences aside and accept all with stars are equal to all without stars. And it's a very touching message. Now, the next two are Green Eggs and Ham and One Fish, Two Fish, Red Fish, Blue Fish. I'm really sorry about the green screen. These two stories, they kind of coexist a bit, although I'm inclined to believe One Fish, Two Fish, Red Fish, Blue Fish comes first, so we'll cover that one first. I'm going to read you the first few lines and see if you can figure it out from there. One fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish. Black fish, blue fish, old fish, new fish. This one has a little star. This one has a little car. Say, what a lot of fish there are. And there are a lot of fish in this story. And it goes on to say there are fat ones, thin ones, old ones, new ones, and every glad ones, sad ones, mad ones, everything in between. But the one that we're going to focus on is the fish that has, okay, you can't see it because of the green screen, but it has a little star. What other creatures in this universe do we know that have stars? The Sneetches. That's right. And what do we see in the final page of the Sneetches? That's right. A fish in the lake, the Sneetch Beach, the beaches of the Sneetches. So it's safe to assume that the Sneetches, they lived on the beach, and their invention, the Sylvester McMonkey McBean's invention, was on the beach. So, and we what was it? Hop on Pop, we saw fish were able to go on trees. So it's safe to assume that a fish would have been able to get into Sylvester McMonkey McBean's device and get a star on its belly. So that is why One Fish, Two Fish, Red Fish, Blue Fish follows afterwards. And it makes sense with the other stories where we have the humans interacting with non-human creatures and stuff like that, you know? So it makes sense in the timeline, because there's humans and non-humans, and the humans, at this point, they're a lot less than the creatures. There's much more creatures than there are humans in this story. So let's continue. Now, the character, Sylvester McMonkey McBean. Look at his name. It's down there. Do any words jump out at you? Anything at all? Sylvester McMonkey McBeans. Original name. Look at the letters. S. A. M. S. A. M. Sam. What character do we know called Sam? That's right. Sam I Am. I have reason to believe that not this man here is Sylvester McMonkey McBean. Why do I think this? Why do I believe this? It is quite simple. Instantly, we are shown he hates Sam I Am. Why would he hate someone? All they are doing is going, like in the first pages, I'll read it. It is a picture of Sam saying, I am Sam. I am Sam. Sam I Am. And then this character, who we never get the name to, goes, that's Sam I Am, that's Sam I Am. I do not like that Sam I Am. Why would he hate someone just for saying their name? Could it be that the name Sam triggers memories of his past life? An old man who wants to forget his entire life. Why would this man just be sitting here so grumpy? Could it be that he made an amazing fortune previously in life, but then threw it all away and lost it and wasn't wise with his money? Could it be that after the success Sylvester McMonkey McBean made, he threw it all away and became a grumpy old man who sat alone and was then met by a young child with the name Sam? Sam, which was Sylvester McMonkey McBean's original name. And Sylvester McMonkey McBean obviously changed his name from Sam because Sam's a pretty boring name, and if you're going to go around selling an amazing invention that can put stars on people's bellies, you're not going to go, hi, I'm Sam, I'm going to put a star on your stomach. No one's going to fucking care. If you go, hello, my name is Sylvester McMonkey McBean, and I am here with an amazing device that will revolutionize your life, you're going to be interested. So, and this man, he hates himself. He just hates life, everything about it, because he made a mistake. He threw his money away. And that ends Sylvester McMonkey McBean's story, where he eats the green eggs and ham in the end, and he's like, I love it, Sam I Am. Then, we go from green eggs and ham to the Cat in the Hat. Why do I think the Cat in the Hat comes next? Alright. Now, I've gotten a bit of shit for this for this claim. People don't agree with me. They don't think that what I'm about to say is true. But without a shadow of a doubt, this is just what makes sense. These are the only two characters. Well, there's another character, but he comes way further on in the timeline, and it wouldn't make sense for him to be him. But these Sam I Am and the Cat in the Hat, their characters are so incredibly similar. From the hat that Sam wears to what Cat wears, their personalities, they're both like, hey, let's have fun, let's eat green eggs and ham, let's do something fun, let's, you know? What I believe is the Cat in the Hat is Sam I Am grown up. And it just makes sense. It's the logical progression of the character, where to take him from there. And after that, we obviously have the Cat in the Hat comes back. It's pretty obvious that would follow. And then we have I Can Read With My Eyes Shut. Now, people have often asked me, but why does the Cat in the Hat comes back necessarily come before I Can Read With My Eyes Shut? Well, technically it's not important. It doesn't really change much. It's like a few years difference. But the Cat in the Hat comes back. We see the cat reveals the fact that throughout the novel he's like making a mess, and then at the end he's like, alright, I can clean this mess, but this time I won't be using the things. He'll be using a smaller cat. To which then, in I Can Read With My Eyes Shut, this smaller cat is out and about with him all the time. He's open about the smaller cat. He doesn't hide him under his hat anymore. So it makes sense that I Can Read With My Eyes Shut comes after the Cat in the Hat comes back. So, what comes next, I hear you say? Well, it becomes a bit messy here. What happens next is the Lorax, everyone's favourite. But it happens next, but it also happens much later on. You see, the Lorax were presented with two stories. The story of a small boy and the Onceler. Now, in this story, we meet the small boy, and the Onceler tells this small boy the story of what happened. And what happened is what happens next. But the story of the Onceler and the boy happens much later on. Much later on. Sorry, I bumped my mic. So, what happens is, the Onceler shows up, chops down all the trees, and then all the animals are like, well shit, what do we do now? And they all have to just leave. And there are no trees left in the end. Left to die. Which is where the next book comes in. Fox in Socks. This we can see, there's only two humans and just horribly disfigured, mutated creatures, like old Joe Crow. And humans have lost their minds once we find it. Like, look, people are resorting to having to drink raw lake water for water. Like that. And it's just pretty crazy stuff. Beetles have become the size of poodles. It's like a wasteland now. There's species are dying, people are dying. It's horrible, and it's just honestly heartbreaking. So then we go to the Sleep book. Personally, the Sleep book is one of my least favourite novels in the Dr. Seuss extended universe. But it explains the events before the Lorax. Now, eventually, because there's no trees, the world starts running out of oxygen. As you can see, everyone's yawning, they're gasping for air, but there's nothing there to get. As much as they may try, they're slowly, and eventually, everyone passes out from lack of oxygen. There's nothing left to breathe. They're all like, and they're dying. There's nothing left for them. And in the final page, here it is, we see a fucking greenhouse that you can't see because of the green. A small house with a light on. And the sky is dark, very dark, as you can see. If you could see if the green screen wasn't, it's all a dark, greeny, grey sky, which is exactly the sky you see as a dark, grey kind of sky in the Lorax. And in the background, we see the small houses with the little lights on. So I believe the house we're shown in the final shot of the final page of the Lorax is actually the house of the boy who goes and meets the Onceler. Anyway. And so yes, we have all that happen. And in the end of the Lorax, the Onceler provides the boy a small seed. And he says, here, it's a truffler seed. It's the last of all. You're in charge of the last of the truffler seeds. And truffler trees are what everyone needs. Plant a new truffler, treat it with care. Give it water and feed it fresh air. Grow a forest, protect it from axes that hack. Then the Lorax and all of his friends may come back. Now, we take a slight diversion from this universe, and we're presented with a new... See, this was like... We'll call it like... I don't know. Assume it's just a planet where all these characters exist, like Seuss. The planet could be called Seuss. That might be what Dr. Seuss means. It might not actually be his name. The planet is Seuss. The planet of Seuss. Anyway, we are presented with this new world, which you all should know. We talked about it before. We are presented with Whoville in these two books, How the Grinch Stole Christmas and Horton Hears a Who. Now what happens here is these take place, we find out this takes place on a small speck. Because in Horton Hears a Who, Horton is a normal-sized elephant who finds a speck, which is where Whoville is. Now, by the end of Horton Hears a Who, everyone in Whoville is aware of the fact they live on a speck, and they're being protected by a giant elephant. In How the Grinch Stole Christmas, it is never mentioned the fact that they know they live on a speck. They never mention the giant elephant. So it's safe to assume that How the Grinch Stole Christmas takes place before Horton Hears a Who, and it is before they realize that they are living on a speck, where they just are living peacefully, blissfully ignorant, as some would say. Now, why do I think these come at these points? These could be anywhere. They could be really early on with all the human animals. Well, there's this one page. What do those look like to you? That's right. Truffler trees. That's right. The boy did it. He grew more truffler trees. Obviously, these are very, very small truffler trees, and they haven't fully grown yet, and they're taking time to grow. But they're truffler trees, no doubt. So it makes sense that this would come after the events at the end of the Lorax. Well, it would have to be a long time later, because there's a lot of trufflers there. But none of them are fully grown yet. So it's going to be a long, long process before it goes back to the way it was. Now, in Horton Hears a Who, we see no humans, all animals, and they're all able to talk, they're sentient, they can communicate with each other, which is what leads us to the next and final book in the Dr. Seuss Extended Universe. What we have here is 10 apples up on top. Why is this the last book? Well, as you can see, the animals in in Horton Hears a Who, the animals we see are still animals, yet they talk and are self-aware. They walk like animals, they look like animals, such as Horton there. He is a normal elephant. Whereas in 10 Apples Up on Top, the animals, if the green screen would fucking show it, just a sec. They are animals, yet they act like humans, as if they were an evolved species. Look at that. We've got a lion, tigers, and bears, a dog, just all acting as though they were humans. And their motor skills are so far advanced, they can balance, by the end of it, 10 apples on their head. Like, let's go to the final page. They can even balance it while running with a giant umbrella. Well, there are bears. Slamming into some bears. Right, look at that. They're able to survive being chased by birds with the apples on their heads. They can do a lot with these apples. 10 apples up on their head. Because, why? Because this takes place thousands and thousands and thousands of years after Horton Hears a Who. Now, the Onceler's attempts and the Onceler and the boys' attempts to plant the truffle seeds to regrow the truffle trees and save the world sort of worked, but it was too late. By then, humanity died out, and all that were left were, in fact, all the, strange mutant creatures that we saw in I Can Read With My Eyes Shut, that we saw in Fox and Socks, Obeon Zebra. All of those died out because, there was no oxygen. All that were left were the animals that existed in our world. So, like elephants, bears, lions, tigers, dogs, all of those. It's thousands of years in the future, and these creatures have evolved to human-like intelligence. They live in houses. They have, there's bits where they walk on electricity wires, and they even roller skate. They have roller skates. They are practically humans, but animals, which, that's the end of it. That's where it ends. It's not really connected to the rest of them. It's the same universe, just thousands of years later. It's kind of a cop-out, honestly, but, he did die. So he didn't get to fill in a lot of the gaps. Dr. Seuss, that is. But I feel it's starting with I Am Not Going to Get Up Today and ending with 10 Apples Up on Top is a really, really smart creative choice on Dr. Seuss's part. Like, starting in a world where animals are animals, like that dog there, it's just a dog. That human, it's a human. There's nothing special about it. It's like the world we live in today. And then we have 10 Apples Up on Top, where there are no humans, and this dog, it's acting like a human. It's evolved, and humans are no longer there because of the events that took place in between, from the Sneetches, to Green Eggs and Ham, to the Cat in the Hat, to the Lorax, to Fox and Socks, to the Grinch. So now, that's it, honestly. There's nothing more really to cover in the universe. There are a few more that people believe to take place in other universes, so they're kind of cut out and aren't considered canon. Although I believe there may be a few that might find their place one day in the universe. But overall, it's been a good stream. We watched the new trailer for the Grinch movie, the original trailer for the Jim Carrey Grinch, and I explained the famous Dr. Seuss Extended Universe, and I hope you all understood it pretty well. If you have any questions about it, feel free to leave a comment below, or join my Discord server and ask me any questions you have about the Dr. Seuss Extended Universe. Thank you all for watching. It's been a great to do this. It's been a good experience. I'm really sorry about the technical difficulties we had earlier on. But we got them fixed, which is great. I hope the quality wasn't too bad. This is my first time with this mic, this green screen, and my camera streaming. I've never done that before. In fact, it was my first time streaming to YouTube at all. So, I hope you all really enjoyed it, and I'll catch you next time.